when we first sat down, you asked me a very important question about what did I think real-time was. So I'm going to flip it back at you. What do you think real-time is?
For me, it's the opportunity to provide, I think about relevant content delivered everywhere, so it's this idea of being able to get to a person when they need you, or to be able to respond in real time, or to be able to learn enough about them so that the things that you push to them feel like content to them. So if you're getting an offer, it's something you welcomed and wanted. It's learning enough about a person so you can kind of anticipate their strategy, if you will, or the way that they want to, the way that they go about things. It's sort of getting to be that concierge, who helps a person through their day, sort of thing,
Do you anticipate that because I've seen it already, and I've actually blogged slightly about it myself, a value at any one point in time of becoming unplugged to a point, because people are saying this is just too, I'm always finding I'm grabbing, I'm interrupting what's happening in the moment because I'm doing this thing. Do you think that eventually that people will have a little bit more control over how much that they are being pulled into these contests? And
are you asking me or are you asking my wife? No.
Both.
My kids. Well, I think there's a lot of value to putting your phone away, to be in the moment. But I think that what's happening and what we're getting towards is being able to, get better precision with how we determine location. I always give the example of, what if the Porndemonium and the Puppy Palace are right next door to one another, and you're allowing a system to check you in? Are you going to chance that? Are you you don't want to end up being over here when you meant to be over here, or that's bad, especially if it's broadcasting out or it's interpreting your behavior. You don't want to end up with the wrong kind of content. So we're getting closer to being more precise about where people are. We're using things like sound frequency in places to determine how close you are to a specific point, and knowing that you are definitely in this location. If you're using certain kinds of apps, like Shopkick does it and Color is doing it, we are getting to a point where you'll be able to check in without checking in.
That's exactly what I was getting towards. Or I want to check in, but I don't want it to be public. Let's just say. And especially if someone is, in the media and they want to be doing something, but at that moment in time they don't want it to be broadcast. There's going to be ways that they're developing things. There's
some really cool technology out there that does that right now, that allows you to kind of privately share your location. You can do it with Koala and Foursquare right now, but there's some interesting ones like Glimpse, where you can. It's a very small amount of people that you share your location with for a specific period of time. There's one called GeoLoki that basically allows you to set up your own location sharing groups, and then also it's cool because it allows you to send notes to your future self if you get to a certain location, or you go to a certain location. Like if you go to the store, we're out of toilet paper, and you maybe you didn't remember that, so you go to the store, you check in, and you see the note comes up, or there's actually sort of a geofencing thing going on there too. So there are technologies out there that do that right now. They're not extraordinarily popular yet, but they're primarily because they run down your battery, but they're really interesting.
So to sum it up, for the entrepreneur out there, and they're on a limited budget, they have limited time, they're already feeling totally frazzled about the commitment that they're being told, you need to be here. This is where people are, you need to be here. What would you advise them as being a best, to do, a best strategy for them in order to adopt this and adapt it into their current daily doings?
Aside from calling me, I think that, you should, first of all, you should start using the tools yourself. You should use Foursquare and Koala yourself, so you get a chance to see what the capabilities are. That's first and foremost. Then you get a sense of, it's just like with Twitter and Facebook. If you don't really use it yourself, you can't really understand what's happening. And then I would say, start testing into, if you have brick and mortar, start testing into specials. If you don't, test into putting tips up there and helping people unlock cool things around them, and see if you get any further engagement around that. Those are kind of the first things I would recommend doing, because they're free.
And that's a great idea. The tips is a great idea because that, as it in and of itself, will help pull people to you if you're a thought leader.
It makes you top of mind. I mean, if I could just talk about a quick example of that, Hugo Boss gives out an award every 2 years called the Hugo Boss Award, and it's an award for a contemporary artist. And in order to bring that kind of top of mind and to help people sort of experience these artists, what they've done is they've put tips on museums where in New York where the artists have exhibits. So when you go to the Guggenheim Museum, you can you can get a tip from Hugo Boss that says, go find this artist's work, and one of them's in the bathroom. Go find this Hugo Boss artist's work in the bathroom. See if you can find it. It gives you something to do. It gives you a different way to explore. Disney's doing a really good job of it at their parks. They've put like custom stamps everywhere, but they've also put highlights. And Gowalla has something called trips that allow you to take people through a certain sequence of events, and then they get a reward for doing that. So, and you can do that for free.
Good tips all. And what about one last thing? QR codes. Any feedback on that?
QR codes. I hate QR codes, but I don't hate them. I'm just not a big fan of QR codes. I think like if you're going to use a QR code, make sure that you're driving to a specific mobile experience. Make sure that that experience is tuned just for your mobile device. Like, I like QR codes to get someone to download the app, because if they scan it and then it goes, there's no question about whether it was your app or somebody else's app, because some of the app names are getting kind of like, they got PlaceCast and PlanCast and things of that nature. So scan a QR code, goes to the iTunes store, bam, or the Droid Marketplace or whatever. But I think make sure it's a mobile specific experience if you're going to use a QR code. Otherwise, people are like, who cares?
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Schneider Mike. Not Mike Schneider.
Schneider Mike.
Schneider Mike.
Allen Gerritsen. Thanks.
Thanks.